Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you're all in the best of your health. According to our today's lesson planner, we have Workbook lesson number 2. That is, Does he remember? We are going to take part A, question number 1 and 2. And both of these questions are related to verbs and adverbs that we have taken before. Let me give you a quick summarization of these verbs and adverbs. So as we all know that verbs are those words that show us some kind of an action. Verbs are action words, while adverbs are those words that modify or describes other verbs, other adjectives, and sometimes other adverbs also. So these were verbs and adverbs. So in question number 1, what we are going to do, we will use the given verbs and adverbs in the sentences of our own. Adverbs along with the verbs have been given in part 1. We will simply use the given verbs and adverbs in our sentences, like easily settled, quarreled angrily, recently arrived, quietly approached, noisily entered, unexpectedly arrived. Let's begin with the first one, that is easily settled. If I will use the first one in the sentence, it will be, we were easily settled in a new town. Quarreled angrily. My brothers quarreled or fight angrily on a new toy. Recently arrived. The metro train recently arrived at the station. Quietly approached. The lion quietly approached its prey. Approached means to reach somewhere, and prey means the target. Noisily entered. The boys noisily entered into the room. Unexpectedly arrived. The guests unexpectedly arrived at our home. So in all of these sentences, we have used the adverbs along with the verbs. So this is how you're going to do question number 1. Let's see what we have in part 2. Now, before taking part 2, let's see what's the information that is given on the top. There are different kinds of adverbs. Like most of the adverbs tell us that how often or when an action is performed. Like often, usually, ever, sometimes, rarely. And there are some adverbs that tell us where an action is performed, like here, there, aside, outside, inside, etc. And then there are some adverbs that tell us how an action is performed, like hard, beautifully, sweetly, quickly, slowly, etc. So what we are going to do in question number 2, we will use the given words in the sentences of our own, and the words that are in the box are quite often, never hot, always unpleasant, seldom drinkable, sometimes unpleasant, quite noisily, almost everywhere. So let's use the given words in our sentences. So the first one was quite often, and the sentence will be, they visit us quite often. Not always, quite often. Second one was never hot, and the sentence is, North and South poles are never hot. Third one, the weather here is always unpleasant. Fourth is, this coffee is seldom drinkable in this cafe. Seldom drinkable, that means something that is rarely drinkable. The climate in Africa gets sometimes unpleasant. Then we have the sentence for quite noisily. The children played football quite noisily. And the last one is for almost everywhere. Tall buildings can be seen almost everywhere. So this was our today's lesson that was related to verbs and adverbs. I hope you understood everything. Thanks for listening.